Hey everyone, I'm so excited to have Khaya back with us. She's the amazing voice behind Violet in the Fourth Wing graphic audio series. With Onyx Storm coming out in January in book form and April in audiobook form, we're diving into her theories about what's next and answering your fan questions. So, welcome back.
Hi, thanks for having me back.
Of course. So, how have you been since our last interview? It's been a few months.
Yeah, I'm good. It's good to see you again. We're
Yeah.
just chilling.
And we're super excited. Winter's approaching, Onyx Storm's approaching, so everyone's in their like book mode.
Yeah.
And speaking of that, so what's it been like hearing fan reactions to the series as more people are reading it? I feel like every time I get on TikTok or Instagram, there's all these people like, "Oh my God, have you guys read Fourth Wing?" And we're all like, "Yes."
It's been really cool. Honestly, it's been kind of shocking. I got to be on NBC's Today in the Bay,
Okay, I
to
saw
talk
that on.
about it.
Yes.
Yeah, it was crazy. But yeah, I'm just so glad that people are, loving the book and connecting with our performances. And so many people have reached out like on Instagram and talked about like, how much they enjoyed the book. And it really means the world. It's really exciting.
Yeah, in that interview you did it. It looked amazing. What was the process for that? Did they call you or did Graphic Audio submit you or how did that work?
So one of the producers on the show reached out to me over Instagram and asked if I would be down to come on the show that week. And I was just kind of like, okay, sure. And she's like, great, you're on tomorrow morning. We'll send you
Oh,
more
wow.
details. We'll send you questions. And I was like, okay, cool, cool. And it all just kind of happened so fast. And so I let Graphic Audio know and our director, Scott McCormick, know that it was happening. And so they were all kind of talking about on their end. And yeah, it just happened. It came together so quickly, but it was a really cool experience.
Honestly, I feel like that's probably better than having like a lot of time. So like you can't get in your head about it because you're like, okay, well, this is tomorrow. So we're just gonna like
Yeah,
they're just gonna
for
like
sure.
wing it. So
Because because they messaged me on Instagram at first, I was like, "Is this real? Like, is this a real thing?" I'm just gonna
yeah.
say yes and see what happens. And then it was real, and I was like, "Okay, I'm gonna be on TV tomorrow."
That's so much fun. Yeah, and it looked amazing. And when you posted, I was like, okay, yeah, here we go. So, very exciting. Okay, so let's get into the fun stuff. Theories and predictions for Onyx Storm.
Mm.
What are your personal predictions for Violet's next steps?
Okay, I feel like she's gonna have to like. I feel like Xaden is gonna die. I don't know.
Oh, okay.
But I feel like she is gonna have like resurrection or something as her second signet. If not resurrection, like we already know that she can talk to the dead because
Hmm.
she had some conversations, maybe not the most lucid ones with Liam,
Yeah.
but in Onyx Storm or in Iron Flame. But I feel like I don't know, I feel like maybe she's gonna have some type of necromancy powers or
Hmm.
something, or she's gonna be able to save him in some way.
I like that. And that makes sense because we've already seen people like come back, like with the whole Jack thing. So I think
Yeah.
in a way we know that it's possible. So I could see that
Yeah.
being uh, a good part. And also, I mean, there has to be some big moment to it. And we know that there's going to be some high point with Xaden. And so there's got to be something where you're like, oh my God. So I could see that
Yeah.
happening. So how do you think her relationships with Xaden, her friends, and the dragons will evolve in the next book?
Um, well, I think her relationship with Darn is definitely going to change once she figures out what her, next signet is. And I
Yeah.
also think that as we started to already see kind of an Iron Flame, like in Darna's like taking more initiative and is being more adult because she's kind of going through her annoying teen phase, her puberty phase.
Spicy
So I feel
face.
like, yeah, her spicy phase. I feel like we're gonna see some more I'm the head of my own den attitude.
Mhm.
And I think it's gonna be really good for her. I'm excited. So I think their relationship is gonna be different because she's kind of not gonna be in that like mothering role to
Yeah.
Andarna anymore.
Mhm.
Because she kind of almost treats her like she's, a baby, like it's her baby.
Yeah.
But I think she's gonna start to see Andarna more as like her equal, or at least equal to Taryn and
Mhm.
her. And I think her relationship with Xaden, I think definitely is gonna change. I think they're gonna be together forever, but In what forms? I don't know. I don't know what's gonna happen.
Hmm.
But yeah.
What about Taryn? Do you think that's gonna evolve?
I think, yeah. I mean, I think that they're just gonna continue to grow together and continue to trust each other, and
Mhm.
that's only gonna like make them better fighters.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think that it will be interesting with Andarna because she was so spicy in the last book, and she like wanted to be in the fights, like where she was like hiding, and she's like, no, no one can see me,
Yeah.
like camouflaged, and to go from like little kid things from that perspective to now being like, okay, like I'm a leader, I'm in control. Let's figure out how to save things, especially because she is so attached to Violet, and she does love Xaden and Taryn. So I feel like she's in an interesting spot where she has so much love for everyone, but is also so powerful. So as she kind of leans into that, I guess we'll see all of the cool things that she can do.
Yeah, for sure.
So, okay, the Venin are such a terrifying enemy. How do you think the conflict might escalate in the next book?
Ooh. I feel like we've definitely not seen the last of them. I don't think that this is
Yeah.
going to be the last battle by any means. I feel like there's going to be a full-on war. I
Yeah.
am curious to see what happens next with Jack Barlowe and his
Mhm.
role and like how I guess DP is in with the Venom.
Yeah.
Because he seems to like just know some stuff.
Hmm.
And they have him locked away. So I'm curious to see, I don't know, just more background on like how they're even created and
Yeah.
I don't know, and why Jack is like a
Yeah.
part of them, or was Jack always a part? I think Jack was
Yeah.
always kind of a part of them,
Mm.
right? So I
When
don't
Jack
know.
showed up again, I was like, can we get rid of this guy? Like, can we
Right.
one of those where you're like, okay, like
Did
important
not have
character.
that on my bingo card.
Exactly. But like you said, it's such a good point of like the resurrection aspect. Like there's like
Hmm.
these can be taken away and brought back. So before anyone like freaks out if Xaden does die, like let's wait until we hit the end of the book to like write, like mean Goodreads
Yeah.
reviews and everything. So, okay. So what are you most excited or nervous to see happening in Onyx Storm? Is there anything where you're like, oh, I really want this, or I really don't want this to happen?
I really don't want any of Violet's squad to get hurt. We already
Oh.
know that Sawyer lost a leg in the battle. And I'm like, what does that mean? Like, is he not going to be able to ride anymore? I don't know. Like, I just want them to all be happy and healthy.
Yes.
Riddick and Rhiannon and even Jasini, I want them all to just like, I hope that they're all safe.
Yeah.
But we know Rebecca Yarros loves to kill her darlings.
I hope they give
All the
him
fan
like a
favorites.
a robot leg or something. Like there's got to be
Yeah, maybe.
kind of that's what's so interesting about like fantasy romance is like there's so many things from other books where you're like maybe we could get him like a robot leg or like I think about A Court of Thorns and Roses like Lucian's eye like can we do something like that
Yeah.
in leg form?
Yeah, and he'll be fine.
Yes, yeah. I
Um,
also hope that no one is going to die that's significant. However, I will say every book seems like we lose someone or like something really bad happens. So I was
yeah,
surprised.
yeah. I feel like I don't know if like any of the dragons will die,
Oh
but I
no.
feel like it's a possibility. I hope not, but
Like
I
Taryn.
don't know. I don't know. I
Um,
hope not.
but yeah, I guess that would make sense because she would still be able to survive with
If she has
one dragon.
Indarna, and especially if Indarna's like stronger. I don't know. We'll see. I hope
And,
he doesn't because I
yeah.
love him.
And what's his line? Like I choose you not as my next, but as my last. And like she
Yeah.
like so will I or I will go too. And I love Taryn. I love like a grumpy character that has like a soft heart. Like I think that's like I resonate with that in terms of like who I would want as a dragon. So I'm like, please don't kill him. He is
Definitely.
older and a little bit grumpy. So I mean maybe, but then you have to think about like Sorrengail and Xaden and all that stuff. So I don't know.
Yeah. He's like connected to all of them, so it would
Yeah.
definitely be a blow for all four of them.
For all four of them and me. I would need to take some time off.
Yeah.
So if you could write one scene for Violet in the next book, what would it be?
Okay, I thought this was such an interesting question when you sent it to me. I think I would want to see more like flashback scenes with her and her dad because
Oh,
we
yeah.
don't know a ton about him, but
Yeah.
I really want to know more about him and also his relationship with their mom
Yeah.
and his relationship with like just like, books in the archives and stuff. I think is so fascinating. So I would love to know more. And also his relationship with his other two kids because
Yeah.
they never really talk about him.
That's such a good point too, because there's so much we don't know, but like would have to be eventually like presented with, like even like Violet's hair. Like we still
Yeah.
aren't really super educated in that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And like the mom's pretty harsh. So like how would that relationship work? But she said she was super in love with him and like
Exactly. Yeah. Like I
yeah.
want to know the tea.
Yeah. Like were you always kind of like uptight, like to the mom, or
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
was
Maybe she became that way like
yeah.
after he died. I don't know. Or at least maybe like it expanded,
Yeah.
that hardness that she has.
Yeah. Or like whenever Violet had that illness, quote unquote, because we don't actually know what happened and her hair changed, like maybe your mom was nice before then and then she became mean.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I think that's really nice. I mean, we're gonna have to eventually learn it, so I approve of your suggestion. Next book, please. Okay, so I asked everyone to send in fan questions. I did this after the last interview and then right before this one, so we have a nice mixture of things. So let's dive into some of them. Okay,
Cool.
so fun ones first. If Violet had a theme song, what do you think it would be?
Maybe this is just because I have been binge watching a certain show about another character named Violet, Arcane,
Oh, okay.
that I feel like it would have to be some like Imagine Dragons. Like I feel like that
Oh,
whole energy, like I
yeah.
think Arcane is such a good like defined style, and I feel
Yeah.
like art Imagine Dragons just work so well in that like world of the Undercity, but I feel like it could work so well for Fourth Wing because Violet and Xaden are like such badasses and like
Yeah.
yeah, I think that would
And even
work.
the band name Imagine Dragons, like that
Yeah.
you're like on it with that. So okay. Okay, I'm into it. Do you have a favorite dragon in the series? And if you could bond with one, who would it be?
Oh my gosh, just one.
Yeah.
Um, I think I would probably pick Andarna
Oh,
just
okay.
because we still don't know so much about her and she's so intriguing to me.
Yeah.
So if I had to pick one, I think I'd pick Andarna, but of course I love Taryn.
Yeah. I think I would go Taryn just because again I like a little bit of a grumpy character.
Yeah.
It's so funny because I have two dogs and one of them is just like Taryn and one of them is just like Indarna. And so like Leo is the one who's like Indarna and when he was little I was like, "Oh, you're so nice and like soft and sweet." And then like as he gets older and he's around my other dog, he like gets a little bit spicier and like a little bit
Yeah.
outgoing and stuff and I'm like, well, "This is just like the book." So yeah, my older dog is like Taryn, so I'm like, I think maybe I'm just more connected to Taryn because I've had that dog longer, and I'm just
That's fair.
used to the grumpiness. It
That's fair. But it's a good balance that they have.
is, yeah, it's very like yin and yang. So the Taryn and
Yeah.
Brennan characters, I think she wrote them very, very well, and also very realistic between like, a pairing. Okay,
Yeah.
so what advice do you think Violet would give her past self, knowing everything she knows now?
Mm. I think Violet would tell her past self, don't be afraid to be open
Mm,
just because everything like she thought she knew like wasn't even true.
yeah,
And she'd like defined herself by these things that she thought were fact and was always taught was fact. And then I think that in Iron Flame, a lot of people kind of find her annoying because she's just like, I don't know what to do, da, 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 da. Because like, and that just permeates every aspect of her life. She like doesn't know like what she's supposed to do fighting, and she doesn't know what to do with her relationship with Xaden, like all the
yeah,
feelings that she's feeling, because everything that she knows foundationally has been completely shattered,
yeah.
and now she has to like realize that she isn't the smartest person in the room anymore, and she's having a hard time even just accepting that, let alone accepting all of these new sets of facts.
Yeah.
So I think like she would tell herself to be open and to maybe like do a little bit more research for yourself and don't just take
Mm.
everything you're told at face value because you never know like who's really being honest.
Yeah, that's a good like life skill too, is to kind of do your own into things and not to look into it. And I feel like that's like a very common protagonist, quest, if you will. Like they have to go through the
Mhm.
series of like what have I been taught and what do I need to like learn moving forward. So I think that is really good advice. Also, I feel like when this question is presented, you can't be like trust Xaden or whatever, like because I feel like it like changes the time
Yeah,
continuum, you know what I mean? So it has to be like
yeah,
very like generalized, generic, like could be presented in any kind of way, almost like a tarot reading. Like it's not like a specific,
yeah.
specific like do this or do that, but I think that that is really great advice. So,
Yeah. And I think it
um,
makes more sense, like why she's not so trusting with him in Iron Flame and why she's kind
yeah,
of like back and forth emotionally because she's just kind of like, I don't even know who I am, so how am I supposed to know what this is?
yeah,
Like I don't know relationship. I don't know what that means. Like this is crazy. I
yeah.
don't know anything. And she's just kind of like spiraling in all aspects of her life.
That's so funny that you said that people were like annoyed by it because when I was reading it, I was like, yeah, I get it. I was like,
Relatable. Yeah.
yeah, I understand.
She's just like me for real.
Yeah, yeah, clearly. But that's good too because it makes her more of like a human character. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
for her to be able to jump into the situation, even just like being at like this dragon, writers college, like things like that. It's just like a lot to take emotionally. So I
for sure.
made a lot of sense that she had this like transitional period of like, what the hell is going on?
Yeah.
Okay, so a fun, lighter question. What do you think Violet and Xaden's ideal day off would look like?
Ooh, okay. Um, I think Violet definitely like in the archives reading.
Mhm.
Um, and I think Xaden would go just because he likes seeing her
Yeah.
happy and in her
Hmm.
element. But if he were like picking, or if it was like something for him, I don't know. I feel like it would maybe be something outside, like maybe
Mm-hmm.
like hiking, because he likes to be up high. He
Yeah.
likes to be like living on the edge somewhere. So maybe
Yeah.
like a hiking trip or camping or something. I don't know, like out in the mountains somewhere up high,
Yeah.
or just like staying in bed all day because they're
Yeah.
exhausted from war.
Yeah. We're watching Netflix. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like those. I think it's always fun that when writers write a protagonist, the girl always likes to read, which I think like
Yeah.
it's not like, yeah, okay, relatable. So,
Yeah.
I
Because
honestly
who's
think
reading the books? Because who's reading the
exactly.
books?
Exactly. And I think that would be so funny if in like a different series someone wrote a character that like hates reading, like despises it because like across series all the girls are like reading and like the guys think it's interesting but they're not into it. So I think moving forward a different series where the guy likes to read and the girl's like this is ridiculous. I think
Definitely.
that would be funny.
But
Okay.
also a guy who likes to read?
I know. I know. Exactly. Especially like the same books. Like the guys that are reading Fourth Wing, hello. Like, yeah, you get it.
Yeah.
Okay, so personal fan questions. What was the hardest scene for you to record, technically or emotionally, in the Fourth Wing series?
Um, I think definitely the scene um with Violet's mom at the end of Iron Flame,
Oh, yeah.
and then also the scene with Liam at the end of Fourth Wing.
Yeah.
Are definitely both the most emotional points in both of the books, I think, but
Yeah.
also the most emotional to record because I feel like I'm a pretty emotional person, so I was
Same.
definitely like sobbing, like ugly crying in the booth,
Oh.
and then just like in it, and then like having to pause because oh, there's a fire truck going by. Like
Yeah.
I'm recording in Brooklyn.
Yeah.
You know, so that and then I think also this scene where she finds the Book of Brennan in Fourth Wing
Yeah.
towards the beginning when uh Mira pays someone to put it under her pillow.
Mhm.
I thought that was just like so sweet and really emotional because at that point she believes her brother is dead and like
Yeah.
they believe that you have to burn everything of the past loved one so that they can like go on to the next life or whatever. And so her thinking that my brother's dead and I have nothing to remember him by, and then being able to find something so precious, like an entire book of his thoughts and feelings and advice, is
Yeah.
like so completely invaluable. So that I felt like really connected to, and it was definitely emotional for me to record.
Yeah, and like the whole point of voice acting is that you're supposed to feel so intensely what the character, is doing in the book. So like you have to be like in it, like in the
Yeah,
feeling. So I can see how that would be very like emotionally taxing. So
for
what do
sure.
you do? Do you just do it multiple times and then like, or what do you do afterwards? Do you like take a nap? Like,
Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
if a nap is required, yeah,
Yes.
sometimes, for
Yeah. Okay.
sure.
That makes sense. I mean, yeah, there's so many big scenes. I assume also in Onyx Storm where it's just like this has got to be pretty emotionally taxing for you guys to work through. So it's always very impressive
Yeah.
to watch you guys do it. Okay, next question. If you could star in any dramatized audiobook, what would it be? Or a book that is not dramatized currently.
Um, hmm. A book that's not dramatized currently. Legendborn by
Okay.
Tracy Dion.
Okay.
I love that book so much. That book got me back into reading, I would say 3 years
Oh,
ago.
okay.
Yeah. Um, because I was doing like a little bit of narration then, but I really started like narrating like within the last like year and a half, I would say, more consistently.
Yeah.
But I had like always read when I was a kid, and then I just like kind of fell off after high school, with college and everything.
Yeah.
And then I picked it back up like 3 years ago when I read Legendborn.
Wow.
It's so good. It's like uh fantasy, but it's set like in the real world. What's that called? I think
Oh,
there's a
okay.
word
Oh, I don't
for
know what
that.
the word is, but I definitely know of what you're talking about. Yes. Okay.
Yeah. Oh, magical realism.
Okay. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's like about this girl who goes early admittance into to UNC Chapel Hill
Oh,
for
wow. So
college.
like super real.
Yeah.
Okay.
But then she starts kind of like seeing things that other people don't see. And
Oh.
then she like has to figure out like how she's like connected to this society that is like King Arthur and the Round Table mythology.
Oh, very cool.
So it's super interesting. The characters are so good. The third book is coming out like in the spring,
Oh,
and I'm so excited
exciting.
to read it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a trilogy. So I think this will be the last one for sure. I think so. But the book is really, really good, and it just like got me so excited about reading again, and I would love to do that if it ever got to be a full cast because it's a lot of fun.
Yeah. Okay. So 2025 is going to be a very exciting year because that book's coming out and magical
Yeah.
realism is really cool. It makes me think of like Harry Potter when they go back into London and they're doing different things.
Yeah,
Yeah. But those of us
for
who grew
sure.
up in America, we were like, oh, is this what London's like? Or, is this like Harry Potter London? Like, it's different. So
Right.
it was always funny seeing people who were like from the area being like, oh no, this is like pretty normal, like, and you're like, oh, okay. So very cool. I haven't read that book, but I will put it on the TBR.
Super good.
Okay, so last fan question. Will you be going to the midnight release party for Onyx Storm in January? And if so, what city will you be in?
I don't know, maybe somewhere. I
Okay.
mean, I'll be in New York, so there's quite a few midnight releases. I think the Ripped Bodice is doing one.
Okay.
I think there's a
Union
few other
Square, Barnes and
places.
Noble, right? Isn't
Oh
that?
yeah, 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 for
Yeah.
sure. Um, I am going to her book tour in New York.
Oh, okay.
So I think that's on I think the book comes out on the 21st,
Yeah,
I
something like
think.
that.
Yeah, and then she's coming to New York on the 24th, I think.
Okay.
So I'm going to that.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
know Stephanie, who plays Sigale, she just went and saw Rebecca. I think Rebecca was somewhere in Europe
Oh,
and
yes.
yeah, and she
At
went and
like a convention, I think.
yeah, and saw her
Yeah.
for that. So I was like, okay, yeah, everyone's kind of like, meeting and stuff. So I thought that was super cool.
I don't know if I'll get to meet her, but that would be really cool.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah. I wish we had the power to make that happen. But yeah, that's so much fun. I know that every year for the books, we've gone to the release parties here. So
Nice.
gonna continue that. And they always have the dress up competition. So everyone will wear like the dress
Oh, cool.
leathers and stuff like that. So I'm like, I gotta up my game. I gotta get on like Etsy and see what people are creating.
That's really cool.
Yeah. So as we end this, is there anything that you would like to tell everyone or any upcoming projects that we could look forward to you being in?
Sure. I just had the opportunity to be one of the two narrators for Emily Rath's new book, North is the Night. It's
Okay,
coming
cool.
out next month, December
Ooh,
17th, I believe.
okay.
Very exciting.
What
So
is that
if you
about?
it's a fantasy
Okay.
that's like Finnish mythology.
Ooh, okay.
And it's about two best friends, one of which who gets dragged to the underworld, and the other one
Um,
who tries to go after her and save her.
okay.
So it's really, really fun. I loved recording it. There's so much like Finnish like mythology and like old religion
Yeah.
that I didn't know anything about, but is super fascinating.
Ooh.
And yeah, it's called North is the Night.
Okay, well, we'll be sure to link it and everything once it gets released and update it so everyone can listen.
Cool. And don't forget, Onyx Storm Part 1 from Graphic Audio is coming out in April. Part 2 is coming out in
Yes,
May.
and we will make sure to remind everyone and get excited. So just wanted to say thank you so much for joining us again and sharing your thoughts and theories. And we can't wait to hear your work in Onyx Storm when it releases. And we will be counting down the days.
Thanks so much for having me.
Of course. And I will talk to you soon.
All right. Bye.
Bye.